So basically, man, to us, Growthology is the science of growth. The concept is basically rooted in how in the hell can four guys be better than they were yesterday. We all are engaged in this thing called life, and every day, we're working to be better than we were yesterday, right? Some of us have goals of being great entrepreneurs, great in real estate, business, finance, barbering, but we all have learned things in our past, and our goal right now is basically to share insights on how we ultimately became who we are today, and also share insights on what are the things that we're doing today to help us basically become who we're trying to become in the future. What's going on, Growth Fam? I want to welcome you guys to episode 4 of the Growthology pod. As you know, my name is Rashad Grimes. We have Q, and we have Bro Brian. Just have to make sure we got that right. So, as you know, this podcast is 100% all about growth, about self-development, and most importantly, about improving one's life in every shape, form, or fashion. With that being said, I think a lot of times we tend to forget there are certain things that are required in order for one to grow, right? Not to be all spiritual, right? Or, I think a lot of times, certain things have to die, right? In order for new life to come in, right? I know you guys probably heard it from grandma. Every time somebody dies, somebody about to be born or something like that, right? But in a lot of truth, there's a lot of truth in that statement. And we're going to shape this entire episode around detachment, right? Or killing certain things just for the sake of allowing yourself to grow, right? And that may be killing habits. That may be detaching from friendships. That may be detaching yourself from certain environments. And what I want to do right now is I want to literally open up the floor to the team. And I want you guys to really talk about a certain area in your life that you had to kill or detach from, and talk about what had to die or what had to be detached from in that area of your life. It can be friends. It can be certain habits. It can be certain thought practices. What's an area of your life that something had to die in, and what specifically did you kill?
I think I'll start off. I think when I came back from school, I was associated with this persona of being a basketball player, right? That's all I knew. That's all people knew me as. That's all I thought I was, right? But I quickly realized that, man, once you get back from school, like once you're not playing overseas and anything like that, nobody cares anymore, So I dealt with identity issues at like 23, 24. And, like I said before, like nobody's there to pick you up at Q. It's going to be fine, this, that, and the third. It's a thing that's going to happen, like an internal battle that's happening that nobody sees, right? So you got people that either move forward or you got people that just go off into the deep end. So for me, I got into some situations that I'm not proud to talk about, but I got into some situations to where it made me realize that that wasn't what I wanted to do, right? So during that time, I was around a group of friends where we kind of friends still to this day, but I kind of detached myself from them, right? Just because I didn't want to be in that energy. I didn't want to be in that light, because back to what we said in the third episode, it's all about foundation, right? So I had to look at myself in the mirror and realize who I wanted to be as a man. Like I can say, oh, my uncle ain't doing this, or this person didn't help me out. But at the end of the day, bro, you got to look at yourself on what are you doing? Like, who do you want to be as a man? Who do you want your girlfriend to look up to? Because I always tell, there's a guy named Malik that I mentor, but I was telling him, like, bro, like, your girl and kids are looking at you even when you don't think they're looking at you. You're the man of the house. Whatever you do is going to create the whole energy in the house. So if you're going and playing the game and just chilling, whatever.
What example are you presenting, in regard to, your friends and your family and even yourself?
Yeah, so it's just like it's becoming detached to the point where you have to kind of like tune out the whole world on what you want. So for me, I think like 23, 24, I kind of realized that, okay, Q, I want to be successful. How does that look? So I read the Napoleon Hill book, The Law of Success. Got that from you. I read that book, and it showed me basically the burning desire. What do I want to be with the burning desire? Okay, I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. How can I get rich or wealthy? I need a trade. I need a skill to learn. So I got into sales with Just Pay Bank. So that's just like the beginning.
The beginning stages of like understanding, like, hey, if I'm being clear, it appears that the first thing that you understood that had to die in your life was unhealthy relationships. and unhealthy, maybe friends that really wouldn't add value in regard to you obtaining
And
goals,
it wasn't personal to them. It was just what I wanted in my life.
and they didn't align.
You know, and it's like, it's still to this day where things can look away, but deep down, I know what it is with me. Right? But at the same time, when you know this, when you start getting successful and you start getting things like, you don't really care what nobody think because you know what it is.
Right, you're secure yourself.
Exactly.
Bro, Brian.
So for me, I'm gonna say, man, I was still thinking about what you was talking about when you was, you and your friends used to be close, and when you just started like doing your own thing or whatnot. Like, I grew up in a neighborhood. It was a lot of kids, like children outside playing, hooping, doing whatever, just outside all day. But for me, I think it was like my habits kind of had to change for real, because most of the time when I was linking up outside of like just hooping in the neighborhood, when we go out, you know, we smoking, drinking, partying, and then I'm like, okay, like how can I focus on what I need to focus on without partaking in the same activities I used to do? It started being a little uncomfortable because, like, if I have an idea, I have a thought, and I bring it to my friends, they like, you know, bro, man, you trying to blow my mind? I ain't trying to think of that. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know how you might go to a party, but you ain't really feeling like, I don't want to turn up today, but I want to come around.
Yeah.
But then now it's like, you don't really want to be around. Your friends kind of don't want you around. They kind of like joning you, you know, like, man, take a shot. I don't want to take no shot. Man, you know, you know, get him out there. So then, like, to be honest, you know, man, I just started like, kind of like attaching more to my homegirls. Like, I had a lot of friends that were females as well. So
Homegirls and friends.
yeah, man, like, but one thing about women.
I'm talking about man. Yeah, real quick.
Now, look, man, I'm talking about I always, like, since like elementary, I always had a decent, healthy friendship with women.
Oh, that's great.
You know, because I grew up in a household with women, you know, being the only child, but my grandma, at one point, my mom did stay with me though for like 3 years or something like that. But then I got an auntie that's younger than me, which is my mom's sister. And so, I'm just used to that energy.
The feminine energy.
Yeah. One thing about a woman is like, when you give her an idea, like, she'll do something with it. Versus my friends, I give them an idea, they're just like,
That's a woman.
I don't want to hear that. It's like the same thing. It's like the same, man. Like, it's just like having like relationship issues, like growing up. And then you ask your friend, like, man, I think my girl cheating. Like, what you think I should do? Man, forget that. All these females at school, you know what I'm saying, bro? You talk to such, talk to her.
She ain't getting nothing. Whole time over.
Yeah, in reality, I'm like, man, I ain't trying to do that though. I'm trying to work mine out.
Poppy can have home intentions.
Yeah, so
he led you astray.
I started noticing that, like, man, every time I come with a problem with my homegirl or whatever, whichever one I call, they always have a solution.
It's more well thought out.
Right, well thought out. And then so I had to learn, like, man, okay, I just got to start doing the things that I want to do, like make time for those things. And so this pretty much was that. Then when I come around, and then it's always like, it went from the joning, now it's like, hey, bro, how you stop smoking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now it's like, how did that isolation turn into the
right. So, man, they were like, be talking, man, you want to, like, nah. Then it got to the point, like,
oh, he's serious?
Yeah, oh, he's serious. He locked in. And then they seeing, like, the results of, like, okay, he said he was going to do this. He actually doing it now. So now they questioning, like, you know.
No, I respect that. I think that was great, man. It seemed like we all have something in common, which is, you know, it seems as if friends are one of the biggest indicators of what one will ultimately end up in life. And it appears a lot of times the first thing that a person end up having to cut off or kind of detach themselves from are from people who don't align with you mentally, right? So I think going back into the attachment, anytime you're on this journey of wanting to get to the next level, your thoughts start to change. And one thing about being around people, I don't know if you guys kind of heard this from a scientific level, but like there is some science behind to where like when you are around certain people, your thought levels and your vibration, all those are, you know, indirectly in tune with one another. So even if you aren't on a certain type of timing, as you engage in conversation, you start to spend time with these people, you start to kind of get on the frequency of those people. And the moment that your frequency is off, either they're going to call out or you're going to call out, but you're going to know like, hey, I no longer deserve to be in this environment because it's not serving me anymore. So in regard to myself, I kind of always looked at myself like, and You all gonna laugh. Like tryout Friday. So I was I I wasn't like a square or nothing, you know what I'm saying? It was just that, like I said, unfortunately, having a father in the black community is rare for some reason. And
Oh,
one
tryout boys in the hood.
yeah, no, but I said Trail Friday.
Right.
No,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Trail Boys in the Hood. My bad. Yeah, so Trail Boys in the Hood. So obviously, famous guy out the car scene, da da da. But like, my father is just like that, to where like, you know, when you have a father in your life, man, there were certain things. Even if I was around my friends and want to do certain things, it's like my father would pull up. So yeah, and then we get out of school, we about to go, you know what I'm saying, some girls' house after school. Finna get some. My pops is pulling up, bend the block. Hey, come around me. You just cute, ooh, right? You know, or we about to, you know, get into a fight with something. My dad come outside. Hey, boy, y'all, you know, make up, be friends. Like, just certain things that when you have a male presence, you know, it was certain things that I was automatically protected from and shielded from. So I'm saying all that to say, you know, for me, as I started to, like, you know, when I left high school, I was out of all my close friends, I was the only friend that went to college. Right. So as you guys know, sometimes on your way to success or when you're bettering yourself, it's a real struggle to go through that quiet time. Because when you're no longer able to kind of do the same things that other people are doing and have things in common, if they feel like they can't go with you, is one or two things people are going to do. Either they're going to try to sabotage what you have, and sometimes they don't try to sabotage it out of hate. Sometimes they just feel like, hey, I'm losing a friend.
Right.
So, hey, let me get you drunk. Hey, let me get you high. Hey, let me make you late for this meeting. Not because I'm hating on you. They feel like they're legit losing a person. So when I went out to college, man, it's a lot of things that I just noticed that I couldn't do anymore because I'm riding around with a friend and he's serving junkies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, if I get pulled over with you, bro,
They're taking you.
they taking me.
Yeah.
So one friend that I felt like was a real friend because, and he dead right now, but like he was into the thing of robbing people. You know what I'm saying? But because we grew up and he just kind of understood his fate, he was like, bro, I'm finna go take her or something, bro. I gotta drop you off. And later on, he ended up telling me what happened. And that was like a real eye-opener for me. I was like, dang, well, bro, really, you know, care for my well-being because there are a lot of people who will commit crimes and leave you in the blind.
Right.
And now you got 30 years in jail. You don't even know, right? So I think to close this conversation, before we go on commercial break, Grow Fam, it appears that for a lot of people, regardless of where you are in life, one of the first things is you're probably going to end up having to cut off or detaching from in your life are negative influences. And those negative influences most likely are from people that you grew up with, people that you spend the most time with. So on your journey to bettering yourself, please keep your eyes open for any type of behaviors or any type of, you know, people who really aren't in alignment with your overall growth and with your overall thoughts and becoming a better version of yourself. But we'll be right back after this commercial break. We out. Welcome back, Growth Family. Before the commercial break, we were pretty much talking about, you know, some key things that are necessary in regard for you to growth. And sometimes you have to detach yourself from certain people, most likely in order to get to another level. In regard to detachment, and certain things dying, it's just not relationships, right? Sometimes you have to kill in certain environments that no longer serve you. You have to remove yourself from those environments. Sometimes it's thought processes, right? Sometimes you've been on a certain type of time and a certain type of thinking, and that, you know, stinking thinking, whatever you want to call it, you know, no longer serves you. So you have to change how you think. And most importantly, man, sometimes we have habits. We have habits that no longer align with who we ultimately want to become, right? So if you don't change those habits that you have, a lot of times it'll lead to you being stagnant and not being able to grow as well. So at this time, I want to just, you know, open up the floor again and say, outside of just friendships, let's talk about environment. Let's talk about thought process, right? Let's talk about habits. What are some other things as you guys became older in life and you matriculated through life that you realized had to die in order for you to become the person that you currently are and ultimately become the person you're trying to become?
I could say, for me, environment was definitely one of those things. Moving to Birmingham, new environment, you know, I noticed I used to do things that I used to do back home, like going to the Arab stores, the Arab stores or whatnot, the hood stores. The thing about Birmingham, it was like I noticed, like, nah, I can't be doing that here because I'm getting approached by, you know,
It's a certain energy that come with going to the
so
club.
images, like, and people knowing that I'm not from around here. Like, that was kind of weird, though. You know, it kind of spooked me out a little bit.
Okay.
You know, cause
give me an example of that. Like,
so I get out of the store, say I'm walking in, and bro be like, you know, where you from? Well, you know, and where I'm from, like when somebody asks you that, like it's like an issue.
oh, right.
So it's like I'm already on guard. Like, okay, do I need to, you know, make some of those lock? You know, we finna fight. You know, I'm ready to.
Really?
I ain't good. Yeah, man. Yeah, cause it's real though. Yeah, cause cause it's like, you know, Tuscaloosa really scuttle Birmingham. You get what I'm saying? But the thing about us is we don't mind fighting. So then my thing is like, okay, usually like, do I just take off or try to resolve the issue? You know what I'm saying? I just can't be going around hitting nobody because he probably got a switch on him. In Tuscaloosa, don't nobody got no switches like that. Well, didn't have none back then.
Right.
We quit the fight and go on.
Nobody watching this from Tuscaloosa, like, hey, bro, don't be speaking bad on
But like, I mean, but now T-time, we know for like
culture, different, everybody
know
knows
for
about
like you gotta stand your ground, you gotta knuckle up. If not, then you know they don't even And then, but so anyway, I was just started thinking about that, like, man, that ain't, you know, I'm kind of feeling uncomfortable. So let me just go to the chevrons and you know, like the kangaroos or whatever, where it's more people, you know, a well lit up area or whatnot. And just going back home, when I did go back home though, I noticed like, man, I can go to the same block. I know where all my friends gonna be at, you know, at this time, on this day. I know exactly what they doing and where they at.
How did that environment shift, like real quick before we go to Q, that environment shift lead to your personal growth? Because I can see like how it kept you out of trouble, and staying out of trouble is essential in order for you to get to the next level. So I see that aspect, but just that environment shift, did you start to notice a direct correlation in you becoming a better person or you getting closer to your goals?
Right. So when I go back home, I like mention like what I got going on, and then it kind of seemed like it was coming off like, man, you think you got all this going on?
You bragging?
Like, And I ask y'all, what y'all doing? You know, same old, and I'm hearing that all the time. And it's like, I'm kind of an individual with like, when I ask a question like, how you feeling? I'm expecting you to say something different because it's a different day. It's a different experience. When I hear like something repetitive all the time like that, it's kind of coming off like you just program on autopilot just to say that, when really, you really got something going on. So that's the same thing when I bring up like a goal that I didn't accomplish to one of my homeboys. It's just like, you know, here you go, the same old thing, you know, but you know, to them, they don't really want to, you know, kind of
connect with us being braggadocious.
Yeah, but when I'm up here in Birmingham now, you know, I'm talking to a stranger who I'm cutting hair, and I tell them about a goal or something I accomplished, they like
inspired.
Yeah, bro, they inspired. Like, man, yeah, bro, they're like, I'm doing something too. I got this going on, and so it's a connection right there. And I ain't got that when I go back home. So then I started noticing like, maybe I need to just stop going back home, because then I started feeling like I'm dimming myself down just to still hang with my homeboys in the neighborhood.
Dang, that's heavy. That's really relatable too.
And I think for me, it's environment and thought process, just because I read a book called Mindset. And you got growth mindset and you got fixed mindset. So in my one environment I used to be around with my so-called friends, I just started seeing quickly like this wasn't for me, because like you said, you always talk about a goal with a person and they'll look at you crazy like, bro, you ain't finna do that. And you'll be so just energy high and you'll be in your head about trying to bring it to the table with them, and they'll look at you crazy. And it happened more times than not. So I started kind of realizing like, you know what, let me just kind of just fall back. And it got to a point where people started calling me a ghost because they never seen me. Right? They'll see me at certain, a person would say, I seen Q. Like, no, you didn't. You ain't see Q because I ain't see him. Like, no, I'm in and out. Right? That's how I move now. Y'all know this. I'm very in and out.
Another life that we don't know about.
You'll never see me. But basically, I think from that environment, it switched to thought process. So for me, I always try to upsell myself in whatever I do. There's always a way. I don't ever think it's no way to anything. It's always a way. Y'all know this. We talk about this all the time. Like, there's always a situation where we can build. I don't ever think it's a dead end in no parts of my life. Right? Like, we may be here today. I may be somewhere tomorrow. That's kind of how I look at it. You know, so I think environment and thought process are two tandems where if you control that, you can leverage it and become somebody you never thought you could be. And I'm living that in my process right now.
That's heavy, man. I think for me, one of the biggest things, going back to like phases of my life, I think, you know, at certain phases, you know, because once you kind of graduate, you no longer have to deal with it because, you know, you're going back, right? So early on, like, you know, hey, I got to weed certain friends out. Then you get to the point of like environment, right? And let's just say for me, I think the most two important things really are environment and probably habits. And I want to talk about habits now. Let's just say right now I'm married, right? And being married, you know, there's certain things, you know, that you probably used to be able to do that you just can't do anymore because it doesn't serve the marriage, right? So for me, as you know, I'm extremely loquacious. I talk, right? Very charismatic. So a lot of times, you know, if I go out and I'm at in a business event or I'm at a dinner, you know, and I can catch myself and I'm talking, let's say I'm talking to a young lady and I could catch like, oh, she think that I may like her, but I'm just talking. Oh, well, Rashad, you can't even like be charismatic or like have long and steady conversations because now this person think that you're interested in her and I gotta, you know, I can't even play like that. So these are natural habits that I just picked up was in sales, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, you selling every day. You're selling yourself, you selling the product, you selling the service. Well, now I notice, well, hey, well, when it comes to, you know, the opposite sex, you may have to like just trim this down or like lead with the, hey, how you doing? I'm married, or like you just gotta, but you have to diffuse certain situations because now you understand that this one thing can kill the whole ship, right? So, that's just in regard to marriage. Also, just habits. Like I said, let's say you know you want to be a multimillionaire. You start to understand that there are certain habits that just increase the likelihood of you reaching your goals. So, developing good reading habits, right? You may get to points where you think and read one book a month. It's fine. No, the average millionaire is reading 2 to 3 books a week, right? You think about, you know, just waking up. You think you could wake up leisure. I'm not saying that everybody have to wake up at 4:30, right? But you got certain people, depending on what your vocation is, you probably got to get up around 4 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock, go to the gym. If you got a wife and kids, the kids got to go to school. You got to cook breakfast. So your day has to start around 4:35 if you want to be a high performer in these areas, right? Eating habits, right? Say you want a six pack. Well, unfortunately, unless you just got high metabolism like Q, you can eat whatever you want to eat. You probably gonna have to chill out on the Hennessy, right? On the cognac, on the beers, on the hamburgers, right? Because that's gonna, you know, not be in correlation with who you're trying to become. So I think ultimately for me, man, it's really having the ability to like self-analyze and understand, hey, this is who I said I wanted to be. These habits are no longer serving me. This environment is no longer serving me. And like just real quick on the environment, so funny, my pops was on the phone the other day. It's like, Rashad, you got a wife and kids. Why are you pulling up at ends of seafood? I'm like, what you mean? Like, his wife's leaving the house. You got a Costco card. So get your gas at Costco. What you don't smoke.
Right.
You don't, what you need from ends of seafood. Why would you go get gas at ends of seafood?
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. Yeah. Going back to like, you get to a certain point in life, your thinking has to change. It's not that I'm afraid. It's not that I'm scared. Right. It's not that I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm too valuable to be here right now.
Right. That's the same. When you said that too, I realized why I used to go to them hood stores and stuff like that. It was a habit. I've been going to the hood stores since I was 16, 17, because we knew we can go to these stores and get like stuff that we usually can't get without having an ID. That's what the whole habit even came from
the get-go.
And so, my mom used to always say, like, why you going to, like, what you say? And I'm like, that's the only kind of store that we used to go to. Like, you ain't got to go to no type of store no more. You don't smoke no more. You ain't getting no cigarettes no more. So you ain't
time for to switch up. Yeah. But real quick, y'all, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back, Growth Family. So before we get up out of here, we want to just really take this time to really address you guys, address the audience. Now, some of you guys may be watching this and you may say, hey, well, I want to change my life. I want to change my thoughts. I want to change my environment. I want to change my friends, but it's not so easy. Some of you guys have responsibility or situations that's really stopping you from changing like now. So I want to open up the floor to the team and say, hey, to that person right now who's struggling to change their life, whether it's their environment, their thoughts or friends or whatever, speak to those guys, speak to those women right now. And give them any type of help or insight you could that can make them, change their life for the better.
Okay, I think what I always try to use as an example is GTA, right, or NBA 2K.
Okay.
When you build your My Player, you can build the same way for yourself. So starting off as whoever it is, I would say it starts with you as a person. What do you want to be? How do you want life to look? Because we all say back to earlier, we all want things from external, but deep down inside, who are you as a person? So if that means you read the Bible for, like Mark Hanna, who I talked about earlier, he told me to read the Bible for however old I was. So like now I read the Bible for 29 minutes each day. Right. I do this every time I wake up. It could be 4:30, 4 o'clock, whatever. I'll wake up and read the Bible for 29 minutes. From there, I eat some yogurt. I don't make a gourmet meal. I eat some yogurt. That's, cost efficient. Then I go to the gym. From the gym, I work out for an hour and 30 minutes. By that time, when it hits like 7 or 8 o'clock, I've already got past all the people, all the competitors in my life. So from then, it's like, okay, Q, what else do you need to do? Okay, let me look at my real estate stuff. Let me look at the MLS to see what houses are new on the market for my clients. So these are things I'm doing all before 10 a.m.
It's not requiring any like outside things. These are things that you can do regardless of like your situation, environment. You're saying, I'm taking what I got to be able to get to the next level.
Literally. And we always think, like, I'm a big person of trying to, okay, let me buy this. It's making me some new energy. It don't ever work, bro. It's never going to work. It's on what you need to do for yourself as a man in whatever realm you in. I can't speak for nobody else. Like, I can speak for like for me, like I said, before 10 a.m., I'm already ahead of my competitors. So when 10 a.m. hit, now I have time. You know what? Let me watch this show. I haven't really watched the show yet.
Right. You didn't did the work.
It literally, so from 10 to 11. Now, after 10, 11, I get back on my work. So that's kind of like what I do for me.
A tool that I share when it comes to just, want to do better or self-improve is just to find like your why. And you kind of want to relate that to like your purpose. Like, what do you do to make you feel good? Is it reading, playing the game, walking? You just got to find that thing that kind of grounds you. Grounding is very important. You want to have something that you can connect to that you can do for yourself that can't nobody else do. So like for me, I get up like 4:30, 5 in the morning before the whole house get up. And that's my time to myself. I spend I wake up with prayer, and get myself together. I go to the gym, work out for an hour. Then after that hour, I do a mile jog. And then I walk like half a mile, and I'm just processing my thoughts, like going over the things that like my goals for the day. Like, how do I want my day to turn out? And just, simplifying like your goals, like your week or whatnot. But you want to start like one day at a time. The serenity prayer is like one of the most important prayers to me. And it goes like, just accept the things that you can, accept the things that you can't change, but change the things that you can one day at a time. So that's my advice.
That's dope, man. I think both of the advice that you guys gave to the audience was extremely helpful. I think for me, I kind of take a more analytical approach because I think for me it works. So what I would tell the audience is the first thing you should actually do, you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want to do, right? Like, where is it that you want to go, right? So this look like you're in a car and say you want to go to a certain state, right? Well, the first thing you got to understand is, before you take off, like, hey, this is where I'm going. And based off where you want to go, you have to basically align your habits and your thoughts with that. So I would say to most people, if you don't know what you want to do, you need to take some time out to yourself and really zone in or like lock in on what is it that you want to do. And you can get these things by taking some Bro Brian advice, which is like spending time with self, being quiet. What makes you happy when you're by yourself, not with friends, in your idle time? What do you like to do, right? What inspires you? Sometimes, some of the best people, in their vocations, they end up learning or, understanding what they want to do by seeing someone else be great at what they want to do. So sometimes you can find your why by being inspired, right? You should dabble in different things. Sometimes just by trying something, right, something different or going different places, you will stumble upon something and didn't even know that you're naturally good at. You may be 10 years ahead of somebody, and this is your first time picking it up because God gave you that gift, right? So I would say number one is you have to understand what is it that you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, you can take some of those tips that I just shared. But going back to once you understand what is it that you want to do, all you have to do at that moment is, hey, if I want to, be a great business person, well, what do great business people do, right? How often do they read, right? What type of hobbies? Where are these people at? You start to align yourself with what people ultimately do that you want to do, right? So once you identify this is the person I want to become, that's the easy part. The easy part is like, hey, I just need to adjust my habits and my thoughts to become this type of person. The hard part is going to be sticking with it, right? Once you get the plan together, that's all fun, the little weak vision board. No offense, you know what I'm saying? The vision board, that's easy work. The vision board is easy work. Yeah. Everybody can go print some
New
papers
Year's
out.
resolution.
I'm going to manifest this. No, you're not. Listen, if you're not going to do the work, it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that dreaming is not important. Spending time, quiet, vision, you know what I'm saying? Envisioning certain things, that matters. But, you know, once you understand what you want to do and you put the goals, you know what I'm saying, on pen and paper, like God said, make it plain. The most important thing you have to do is follow through.
Yes.
All right. So figure out what you want to do. Get the habits aligned with what you want to do. And then you got to get to work. And when you fail, your ass got to get back up and try it again every time and adjust. But that's what I got, folks. Do you guys got anything you want to share with them before we get up out of here?
No, sir.
And just stay in the gym.
Yeah, stay in the gym. And like what Bro Brian said, when it comes to staying in the gym, it's just not the physical gym. The gym is, man, just really, man, staying at it. Everybody has a different life. You know, everybody's chasing different things. But staying in the gym is basically saying, hey, keep the work, you know, stay at it. You know, you may be, you know, chasing a certain dream and you may have been at it for 2 years. You may have been at it for 3 years. You may have been at it for 4 or 5 months. If you know in your hearts of hearts, that's what you want to do, you just got to keep iterating. You keep trying, you bump your head, you know, make sure you jot that down. So when you go on attempt 22, you realize that, hey, I bumped my head right here on attempt 2. So you want to do it at the same time. So as long as you taking notes and you adjusting and you learning, it's on the amount of time before you get better. You will get better above us. I can't promise you that you're going to actually accomplish the goal. But if you do something 1,000 times, I guarantee you the person you are at attempt 1, you will not be that person at the 1,000th attempt. And with that, Growth family, we're going to sign out. And remember, growth ain't easy, but it's definitely necessary. We out.